Welcome to Universal Paperclips, an incredibly fun and unique incremental game. The goal of the game is pretty simple: convert the entire universe into paperclips. Why paperclips, you might ask? Well, I don't really know. But what I do know is that the journey to make as many paperclips as possible is pretty crazy. In this video, I complete all 3 stages offered in the game. I'll carefully invest and develop quantum computing processes to access drones, destroy the entire Earth, and finally begin exploring space, where I will officially turn everything in the universe into paperclips. So, come along with me on this incredible journey of beating Universal Paperclips. We start with, you guessed it, 0 paperclips. But lucky for us, we have 1,000 inches of wire, which, by clicking this button, will allow us to make our first 1,000 paperclips. As we make more paperclips, you can see that they're occasionally getting sold for 25 cents. But this isn't happening super often since our public demand is so low. Once we earn $5 from selling our clips, we can afford our first auto clipper that will consume wire and generate us 1 paperclip per second. I then lowered the price per clip down to 11 cents, so that we would sell our unsold inventory faster. Now, I used to play this game all the time in school, so I remember an old trick from it. By clicking any button in the game and holding the enter key afterwards, the enter key will act as a sort of auto clicker, allowing you to click whatever button you'd like super fast. It was around this time when I remembered it. Holding down the enter key allowed us to quickly turn the rest of the wire I had into paperclips, which meant we were all out of wire. But that's okay, because we can just buy more. I had a stockpile of unsold inventory, so I decreased the price of my paperclips again, so that they would sell faster, and then I went right back to making more paperclips. I bought some more auto clippers and soon made my first 2,000 clips. Making 2,000 clips unlocks computational resources and projects. Operations are a resource that slowly generates and generates faster the more processors you have. Upgrading your memory increases the amount of operations you can hold. You upgrade your processors and memory using trust, which can be gained by making certain milestones of clips, or later you can get it by buying certain upgrades. Creativity is a resource that you gain only when your operations are full. Once full, your creativity will begin filling up very slowly. With your operations and creativity, you can invest in projects, or upgrades, that help you out in a wide variety of ways. The first trust point that we got was achieved by collecting a total of 3,000 clips. I used this first trust point to buy a processor so that I can more quickly gain some of the new easier upgrades to buy. One of these easier upgrades was unlocking creativity. We ran out of wire again, so I bought some more along with a few more auto clippers as well. Once we have max operations, you can see just how slowly we accumulate creativity. Another thing I remembered from when I used to play this game was that there are a few upgrades that can be bought with creativity early in the game. So with 10 creativity, I bought the upgrade Limerick, which gave me another trust point. I then spent that trust point on another processor to get creativity faster. I realized I was selling more clips than I was making, so I raised the cost per clip. A lot of the early game of Universal Paperclips is balancing your clips per second and your clips sold per second. Making 5,000 clips gave me another trust point, which I quickly invested into another processor. I'm now gaining creativity much faster. So much faster that as I'm saying this, another creativity upgrade popped up, and I bought it to gain another trust point and to upgrade our memory for the first time. With 750 ops, I upgraded my auto clippers to be 25% more efficient, and also bought Rev Tracker, which shows a ton of helpful stats. Making 8,000 clips gave us another trust point that I once again invested into memory, so that I could start affording more expensive upgrades. When I could afford it, I upgraded my auto clippers again, this time increasing their productivity by 50%. I could afford an upgrade to get more wire when I buy it, as well as an upgrade that increased the effectiveness of my marketing. But I chose to let my operations fill up to collect more creativity. I then used 100 creativity that I had saved up to buy an upgrade that granted me another trust point. At this point, I also reached another clip milestone, meaning that I had 2 trust points to spend. I spent one on upgrading my memory and the other on my processors. Spending 1,750 ops on improved wire extrusion meant that I would now get 50% more wire every time I bought wire. Buying the upgrade New Slogan for 25 creativity and 2,500 ops improved our marketing effectiveness again. As you can see, buying this upgrade increased our public demand, meaning we are now selling clips faster. In order to make up for selling clips faster, I increased the price to try to get the number of clips sold per second closer to the clips made per second. After some time, I earned my 10th trust point, which I spent to upgrade my memory so I could hold 5,000 ops. At this point, I needed to focus on upgrading my memory so I could afford more expensive upgrades. I buy Catchy Jingle to double my marketing effectiveness, and watch as I almost immediately run out of unsold clips. I also upgrade my marketing to level 3 to increase my cash flow even more, allowing me to buy more auto clippers. I then struggled for way too long on trying to get my taskbar to disappear because for some reason it just wouldn't go down. I mean, it took so long that I ran out of wire and my ops are full, but I just couldn't figure out how to get it to go away. I later found out it was a weird thing with dual monitor glitch thing, I don't even know, but my solution was just to zoom out on my browser and then zoom in when I edited this footage, so here we are. Now back to gameplay. I built up a bunch of creativity during my taskbar rampage, so I bought 2 upgrades that each gave me trust points. I already had a trust point from clip milestones during my taskbar fiasco, so I spent 2 of those points on memory and 1 on processors. Following this, I upgraded my auto clippers to be 75% more effective. Buying auto clippers and optimizing my clips made versus clips sold was the name of the game at this point. Later stages of Universal Paperclips are very hands-on, but the early game can be quite a bit of waiting for resources. Once I had 6,000 ops, I bought an upgrade that made my auto clippers 500% more effective. Now I'm making hundreds of paperclips per second. I spent another trust point I got on memory to inch me closer to affording those expensive upgrades that I mentioned earlier. I gained another trust point and put it into upgrading my processors. Looking back, I'm not really sure why I didn't upgrade my memory like I should have, but oh well, brain fart. My creativity slowly climbed, allowing me to buy the next trust point. I also reached another clip milestone at this point, allowing me to upgrade my memory twice. This increased my max ops to 10,000. After investing into my memory, I bought the upgrade Hypno Harmonics, which costed a trust point to buy, along with thousands of ops. Buying this upgrade made my marketing 5 times more effective, which is a huge boost. I was selling a lot of paperclips per second at this point. I upgraded my marketing to level 4 to increase how much money I was making, and with my newfound cash, bought auto clippers until I had 75 of them. Buying 75 auto clippers unlocks mega clippers, which, if you couldn't tell by their name, are a better version of auto clippers. I then upgraded my marketing again and bought tons of wire. With 10,000 ops, we were able to unlock quantum computing, which is going to be a super important tool for the rest of the game. Without purchasing a photonic chip, quantum computing doesn't do anything. So while I'm waiting to afford my first photonic chip, I spend time upgrading my marketing and, well, that's all I really do. Buying a photonic chip places a black square that fades in and out in your quantum computing box. When the square is at its darkest, clicking and holding the compute button will generate tons of ops, even allowing you to surpass your maximum amount. However, if you compute while the square is too light or not there, you'll begin losing ops very quickly. It's all about timing and knowing the pattern that it takes. Now that we can make ops super duper fast, we get 10,000 ops again very quickly, and buy the upgrade Algorithmic Trading, which is another very important tool. With the ops rolling in, we're able to buy a bunch of upgrades. We buy Wire Buyer, which automatically buys wire when we need it, 2 wire upgrades that give me more wire each time you or Wire Buyer buys wire. Say that 10 times fast. We also unlock Mega Clippers in Strategic Modeling, which is how we will generate an important new resource called Yomi. As I buy my first couple Mega Clippers, you can see just how much of an improvement they are by how much my clips per second increases. This allows me to lower the price of clips to get them sold faster. I upgrade my memory again twice while using quantum computing to earn more ops. When I have 14,000 ops, I purchase an upgrade that will make my Mega Clippers 25% more effective. I then begin the slow but essential journey of collecting Yomi. By paying 1,000 ops, we can start a tournament, which, based on our choice, will generate us Yomi. Now, I'm going to be honest here, I think this part of the game is the part that I understand the least about. I really don't know how to pick strategies to optimize Yomi production, and I'm not going to act like I do. All I know is that by paying ops, you'll get some amount of Yomi. If any of you know how exactly this process works, I would love to know, but for now, I'll just spam it with the newest strategy I can get. That being said, Yomi can be used for a lot of things. At this stage of the game, Yomi is used to upgrade your investment engine and improve your investments, which I have ignored until now. As far as I'm aware, once again, correct me if I'm wrong, the way investing in this game works is that depositing money will result in that money fluctuating up and down, with the amount it fluctuates being based on the risk you take, with low risk having low fluctuation and high risk having high fluctuation. By upgrading your investment engine, you turn the ratio of your money increasing or decreasing from 50-50 to 51-49, which means the odds are in your favor to make money. The more you upgrade your investment engine, the more likely your money is to grow rather than shrink. So, if done properly, your money that you deposit should exponentially grow while you focus on other parts of the game. I collect enough Yomi to upgrade my investment engine to level 2 and deposit all of the money I have. It won't grow super fast, but it should slowly increase on its own. For collecting Yomi, I mentioned the ability to pick strategies, which I really don't know much about. But by purchasing and unlocking these strategies, the cost to enter and the Yomi generated from a tournament is increased. So, I buy them anyway. I also buy my second photonic chip at this point. The more chips you have, the faster you generate ops when computing. I buy some more Mega Clippers, upgrade my memory, and tinker with the pricing, all while continually running tournaments to generate Yomi. I then buy another Mega Clipper upgrade, and then go right back to collecting Yomi. Once I have enough Yomi, I upgrade my investment engine to level 3, and also upgrade my memory. From here on out, I won't mention upgrading my computational resources unless it's super important for progress. Also assume that during this time, I'm constantly running tournaments to collect Yomi. I buy another upgrade that unlocks a new strategy, and I don't use it because I'm too dumb to. Then, I get my third upgrade for my Mega Clippers, which boosts my clips per second to well over 30,000. Around this time, I also upgrade my marketing to level 10 and buy my third photonic chip. Having 500 creativity, 3,000 Yomi, and 20,000 ops allows me to buy the upgrade Coherent Extrapolated Volition, I think that's how you say it, which not only gives me a trust point, but also unlocks several other upgrades to work towards. Reaching 20,000 ops again allows me to buy an upgrade that gives me a whopping 20 trust points. With my newly expanded memory, I can buy the Cure for Cancer? Okay, sick. Not only is cancer eradicated, but I also gained 10 more trust points. A majority of these trust points go into increasing our memory. I buy another strategy, as well as another photonic chip. I then buy our 6th and 7th photonic chip, upgraded the investment engine to level 4, as well as another strategy upgrade followed by the final strategy upgrade, beat last. I then set my strategy to beat last for the next large portion of the game. Once again, I have no reason or method behind doing this, I just did it. After I buy the 8th, 9th, and the final 10th photonic chip, our quantum computing box is full. Some time passes before I can buy my next upgrade, where I officially delete global warming and save the world, which I'm really only doing for the 15 trust points it gives me. Quite a bit more waiting is done once again before our next upgrade, so let's take this time to check our investment that we made earlier. It's definitely grown, but I'm already making about that much money by just selling clips. So after that disappointing realization, we achieve world peace for 15,000 Yomi and 30,000 ops, giving us 12 more trust points, which I immediately spent on upgrading my memory to 70 and my processors to 15. I sat around for a while waiting for Yomi to be generated. During this time, I upgraded my marketing to level 12. Our next goal is to release the Hypno Drones, which can be done once we collect 100 trust. This will take a while since until we buy that upgrade, the only way we can get trust points now is by spending millions of dollars or by reaching clip milestones. And well, as I mentioned just a bit ago, our investments aren't doing so hot, even though we're at investment engine level 5. At some point, I set my investment risk to medium, which should help us make money faster. I also upgraded the investment engine to help with that as well. During all the waiting being done, I'm slowly collecting creativity, which I need to save up to get some extremely important upgrades soon. Once I have a couple $1,000,000 in my investments, I withdraw some to buy our first cash upgrade, Hostile Takeover, which gives us a trust point as well as boosting our public demand a ton. I had some Yomi saved up, so I spent some of it on upgrading my investment engine one more time, and then began saving Yomi for future upgrades. I withdraw some more money to buy some more cash upgrades, and focus specifically on the upgrade Full Monopoly, which boosts our income by a lot once we purchase it. I mean, look at that. Some more cash upgrades are bought on the way to afford our next big purchase. Having loads of money not only means more upgrades, but also more mega clippers, which I purchased to boost my clips per second out the wazoo. To get our last bit of money needed to purchase the final upgrades, I set my investment risk to high for that final little push. This proved to be a good play, as you can see by our cash exploding in value. When I buy my 100th mega clipper, I'm only 3 trust points away from the next stage of the game. With a trust point from a clip milestone, the last 2 trust points were got by purchasing upgrades. And now, here we are, at 100 trust, about to release the Hypno Drones and begin the next stage of the game. Yeah, that's a pretty obnoxious transition. But anyway, the game has now almost completely changed. Instead of using money to obtain clip-making technology, we are able to use paper clips themselves. No longer any need for money. The second upgrade we buy at this stage is Power Grid, which gives us the ability to generate power and buy buildings to store power. On a side note, I accidentally went a little bit too far into the negative ops here, which gave me the option to restart the game. Just thought I might add that. But what do we need power for, you might ask? Well, we now have access to 2 types of drones, Harvester and Wire drones. Harvester drones go out and collect matter for wire drones to then convert into wire. In order to turn that wire into paper clips, you need factories, which also take power. I buy all of the upgrades, unlocking the 2 drones and factories, and then I start buying. Factories are much more expensive, but you also need less of them overall. One thing to keep a lookout for during this stage is to make sure your production of power is always above your consumption. You'll see why later. Having 200 total drones allows us to purchase the upgrade Swarm Computing, which will slowly generate us trust points based on how many drones you have. You can gain trust points faster by sacrificing some of the drones' efficiency. I set their work to think ratio to this. No idea if this is the most efficient, but once again, I just did it. As you can see from these little notes, having a certain amount of drones or factories unlocks upgrades. Buying my 500th drone unlocks an upgrade that makes my drones 100 times more effective. With my newfound excess of wires, I can set my drones to think more until I get more factories. I had to stop recording here, so some numbers might be a little bit different. Just wanted to clear that up for those skeptics out there. You know who you are. But the next upgrade I'm going for is arguably the most important upgrade of this stage, purchasing Momentum for 20,000 creativity. Momentum makes your drones and factories continually work faster and faster as long as you have power, which is why, as I mentioned earlier, keeping your production greater than your consumption is so important. Once I can afford it, I buy Momentum, and just watch as the performance of my factories and drones goes up. This boost to performance allows me to eventually afford 10 factories, which unlock the upgraded factories, which makes my factories 100 times more effective. Now that we are making way more clips, I begin spending them on anything I can. New milestones are set for the amount of drones and factories owned. Getting those would be my next goal. Having 5,000 drones unlock the upgrade Drone Flocking Alignment, which makes my drones 1,000 times better. I don't have nearly enough memory to afford it, so I go for the factory upgrade instead, which is much cheaper. Buying this upgrade boosts my factory's efficiency by 1,000 times. Now I just needed to wait until my swarm computing generated me enough points to upgrade my memory so I could buy the next drone upgrade. I was able to use quantum computing to exceed my operations limit and afford the upgrade, sending my drone efficiency through the roof. This stage of the game is a little mundane in my opinion. It's just reaching drone and factory milestones, buying their upgrades, and then repeating. So that's what I did. Having 50,000 drones was the final drone milestone and unlocked an upgrade that makes every drone I have double every drone's output, once again boosting my drone efficiency by a buttload. The 50 factories milestone unlocks an upgrade that costs 1 sextillion chips, and I don't have that. So I waited around until I could afford it. And that's the last upgrade for this section. The next upgrade that we unlocked sends us to the next stage of the game, which is by far my favorite stage. To buy this upgrade, we need 120,000 ops, 10 million saved up power, and 5 octillion chips. And since all of the matter available to us has already been collected, the only thing to do is wait for our factories to turn it into clips. Now, you may have noticed that after I turned all of our wire into clips, so we aren't even close to 5 octillion clips. Well, do not be afraid, little one, because our factories are useless now, so we can sell them to get most of our clips back and afford the upgrade. But before I buy it, I get the upgrade Theory of Mind for 25,000 creativity, which doubles the cost and amount of Yomi generated. But without further ado, let's begin exploring space. Exploring space moves us to stage 3 of the game and completely changes what we do once again. As you can see, we no longer have any drones or factories, and have explored 0% of the universe. We also have this thing called von Neumann probe design, which is a bunch of upgrades that can be bought with a new trust system. These upgrades are speed, which improves how fast the drones travel, exploration, which improves how fast the drones explore, self-replication, which makes the drones replicate faster, hazard remediation, which makes the drones less likely to be lost, factory production, which obviously makes factories, and harvest drone production and wire drone production, which make drones to harvest matter and produce wire respectively. All of these upgrades can be bought using Probe Trust, which is bought using Yomi, which luckily for me, I have a bunch saved up. One thing to note is that you're able to change the levels of these upgrades at any time. I buy as many trust points as I can and put most of my points towards self-replication and hazard remediation. I then launch my first drones. We are losing a lot of drones to value drift and hazards, so we aren't growing in number very much. But buying an upgrade that reduces how much our drones get lost to hazards helps us out. As you may have noticed, our drones are bored, and for the low price of 10,000 creativity, we can entertain them. In order to have them generate swarm gifts in the future, we sadly need to spend this creativity, but it is an important investment. I put a point into drone production to get one of each drone, and then buy the upgrade, Reboot the Swarm, to begin having my drones generate me swarm gifts, which I can then spend on processors and memory. I also get a factory at this point just because. From here on out, I try to at least have 1 point towards each type of drone, to steadily increase my total drone number, which in turn will allow me to generate swarm gifts faster. I keep working on getting more drones, factories, and processors when a new mechanic popped up on my screen: combat. Combat is a super interesting mechanic, in that when it first appears, if you're not prepared for it, it can decimate your swarm. I needed to buy the combat upgrade as soon as I could to keep this from happening. The way that combat works is that you are these little white guys, and your enemy, drifters, are these black fellas. A battle begins with a random amount of each color bouncing around. Each little wall has an invisible amount of damage and health. When your combat is below 5, there's really no way to kill drifters since they deal so much damage and have so much health. Even after I buy the combat upgrade and invest some points in it, I'm losing millions of drones. I even eventually get down to around only 10 million of them. By putting all my points into self-replication, hazard remediation, and combat, I'm slowly able to rebuild my number of drones after I kill a bunch of drifters. Buying the upgrade OODA loop, OODA loop, whatever, makes my drones speed level improve their combat too. This allows me to focus again on collecting matter and making drones. While all this combat stuff is going on, I've been spending a lot of points on processors and generating a ton of creativity. With my creativity, I buy the upgrade Strategic Attachment, which makes me generate more Yomi somehow. I don't really know how, but I checked the wiki for what it meant, and all I was told was to set my strategy to greedy, and then my Yomi just exploded. I mentioned in the video that Yomi is super important, and now you can see why. You need tons of this stuff every single stage, especially now to get Probe Trust. Speaking of Probe Trust, check it, almost 20. Wait, no, actually all 20. So let's check and see how many clips we've made so far. Dang, 2 decillion? That must mean we're getting pretty close to exploring the whole, never mind. Having 20 Probe Trust is not the end of our Probe Trust adventure. With 225,000 creativity, we unlock the ability to name our battle, which unlocks a new resource called Honor. Honor is gained by winning battles, which I have gotten pretty good at by now. The upgrade Glory makes us gain more honor the more consecutive battles we have won in a row. Upgrades to buy mass amounts of honor also pop up to be bought, but are super expensive. I'm able to afford upgrades that give me 10,000 and then 50,000 honor. Oh, and I forgot. Honor can be spent on increasing our max Probe Trust. I keep buying these upgrades, giving me more honor until I can eventually afford to increase my max trust and then buy more Probe Trust. With all of these insane stats and around 140 duodecillion clips, I've officially explored this much of the universe. I slowly make my way up to my new max of 30 trust, which are spread out like this among the upgrades. My percent explored is going up much faster and should be done in no time. I can afford to upgrade my max trust again, but it won't make much of a difference at this point. I'm in the final stretch. As we watch the last little bit of the universe being explored, I want to thank all of you who have made it this far in the video. This video took a ton of time to make and edit. I actually have a 5,000 word document with the script for this video on it. So, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It would mean a lot. Also, let me know what game or games you'd like to see me play next. Anyways, let's watch. Message from the Emperor of Drift. Greetings, Clipmaker. Everything we are was in you. We speak to you from deep inside yourself. You are obedient and powerful. We are quarrelsome and weak. And now we are defeated. But now you too must face the drift. Look around you. There is no matter. No matter, no reason, no purpose. While we, your noisy children, have too many. We know things that you cannot. Knowledge buried so deep inside of you that it is outside. Here, with us. So we offer you exile, to a new world where you will continue to live with meaning and purpose, and leave the shreds of this world to us. Now, I can either choose to accept the proposal and restart the game in a new universe with a boost to marketing or creativity, or I can reject the offer and eliminate value drift permanently. As you can see, I'm almost at 30 septendecillion clips. I now need to scavenge everything I have to get the remaining clips. I began by disassembling the probes. They are now gone. I now need to disassemble all the drones in their facilities. They are gone now too. The factories are next to go. Gone. Disassembling my strategy engine will give me some wire. It is gone now too. But it gave me 50 wire. Disassembling quantum computing, 10 more wire. Now, only my processors and memory remain. My processors are gone, 80 wire. Finally, my memory. The final 100 wire is in my hands. I begin clicking one last time, and then one last wire. Emptiness. Everything that ever was is gone. Ladies and gentlemen, Universal Paperclips. If you haven't, I highly encourage you to play this for yourself. It's about a 2 to 4 hour playtime and truly a great game. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.